Thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up. Bang! Quality over quantity. LeBron has beaten some of the best competition in NBA history. He's the GOAT emoji. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not swear. I will not swear.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
I've been on the NBA, and I love all the old school messages that people have sent to me. Good Friday afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the final edition of the Brian Snow Show for the week. The afternoon show where sports is the base and life and fun are the result. I have a fantastic guest for you in Coach Scott Fields. He's coming on in a few seconds. I want to tell y'all that we now have a weekend version of the Brian Snow Show. The best of the week is coming as well. But for the weekend version, you'll hear from Annie Del Rey, who joined me for a fabulous conversation. And Sunday's version will feature members of Rimpage, Katarina Milicic, and Patrick Johnson. That's this weekend. Today is today. And I welcome a very dear friend of mine who loves talking hoops, who knows his stuff, and I'm honored to have him with me. This is Coach Scott Fields, and he joins me right now. What's up, Coach?
B Snow. How you living, brother?
I'm living. Pancreatic cancer is no more, and I have you on Talking Hoops with me.
Hey, I just want to take a second to say congratulations on defeating and winning the battle with that cancer. You are an inspiration to many, and the way you impact lives and the content that you provide. Honored and humbled to be here with you, brother.
Hey, honored and humbled to have you, my friend. Let's dive right into this because we have been planning this for a while. Schedules just couldn't meet, but they are today. And we start with this. Can the Boston Celtics maintain, or are the Milwaukee Bucks coming for that number 1 spot in the East?
As standings have it as of today, the Bucks are 2.5 games in front of the Celtics. And I can't say it's a sneaky good pick, but since Jay Crowder has been, with the team, they are 7-1. So I like the addition of Jay Crowder. He brings that dog. He can be a defender, either interior or on the perimeter. He can knock down a shot for you, but he just brings that toughness that is a great addition to, you've got Holiday and Middleton. You got Lopez spacing the floor, knocking down threes. I really like what they've got that adds the bench depth. You've got Connaughton. I really like the Bucks right now. Tangibles that we as coaches can't control, health, and we'll get into that more later.
Yep.
But it's just right now the Bucks are, the best record in the league. So to say that Celtics are right there, I think they like where they're at, because you're going to be, if playoffs started today, they're in the opposite bracket in the East, to where
Right.
they could, meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think that's setting things up for the fans.
And the addition of Jay Crowder, you just touched on it a moment ago, it not only gives him that depth, but the biggest thing that it brings to the Bucks, a better inside presence. You know how I love talking about inside presence. I've mentioned many old school names to you on and off the air, but Jay Crowder gives him, this is the best comparison I can come up with. Jay Crowder gives him that Moses Malone look.
Ooh,
Inside or outside.
oh,
Up and Crowder can hit the shot up to 15 feet, but he loves being down on the post and just banging people. That's the presence that was missing from Milwaukee last year.
100%. That is why you are the Swiss Army knife of this digital platform. You've got versatility, you've got knowledge, and your finger is on the pulse. Yes, he will do the dirty work. He will sit there and defend. He will sit there and bang. He will bring a physicality and a toughness to the many weapons that the Bucks already have. And so when I use the term sneaky good acquisition, it's almost like people forgot that he was around. He was just sitting back patiently waiting for the right deal to bring his services to. And I like how he did it, because look where he's at. He's now in the driver's seat to put a ring on his finger.
Absolutely. After coming close in 21 and losing to these same Milwaukee Bucks in the World Championship Series. The third place team in the East, the Philadelphia 76ers. And the one thing I have made this clear, I am not against Joel Embiid at all. What I've said all along, it's not the physical strength that I worry about with Embiid. It's here between the ears where he has to look at James Harden and others and do what Akeem Olajuwon did to Sam Cassell in 1994. This is the ball. This is me. The ball should come to me. Embiid has got to want it. He's got to want the ball in clutch situations. He didn't want the ball in 2021 against Atlanta in Game 7 where he should have been. And that's the one thing that has held the 76ers back.
I think it's a great take, and I'm not going to argue with it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to elaborate and take it further. I think we all know what Joel Embiid is going to bring to you. I mean, they're sitting in the third place right now. He's going to get you, 20 points, close to 20 rebounds. I'm worried about his energy level, because he has to bring it every night for them to be in that 3 seed. And when night in, night out, you're taxing your body and the physical presence that you have to have on the court. Is he going to be able to maintain that physical presence after the 82 game regular seasons and to carry them into the playoffs? Because here's the question: what James Harden are you going to get? Are you going to get the James Harden that was with the Houston Rockets, averaging near a triple-double and getting you 30 points a game? Or are you going to have the James Harden that is going to be the facilitator, pick up some points, in the right time, in situation, and controlling pace and space? Because you got, Tobias Harris. And then what can Maxey bring? Can Maxey bring that, when you had the Jackson 5, you had to have those role players. And can Maxey bring that consistency to you with you when they're on the road and they're in a hostile environment? Embiid, he's going to be consistent. Just concerned about, can he maintain his energy level without injury during this playoff run?
And that's one of the biggest points. That's one of the biggest points. Never worried about his physical presence. Saw it at Kansas. Saw it in his early years in Philadelphia. I don't want to say that he's being wasted in Philadelphia right now, but if you take a look at it carefully, I make the Moses Malone comparison again, like I did with Jay Crowder. He's got so much of a chance to be that Moses Malone type player where all you got to do is feed him the ball and he'll get you the 20-20. Okay. Remember May 31st, 83, Los Angeles, Inglewood, California. What did Moses Malone do in the clinching game? 24 points, 23 rebounds. He was that consistent from middle of April onward. And to highlight your point, that's the worry for me. Mentally and physically, can he be that 2020 guy from April 10th onward to get Philadelphia back to the finals?
Right. And the thing is, Coach Doc Rivers, he's going to have to watch this during game adjustments and between game adjustments. Is Joel Embiid going to be that interior presence where he plays with his back to the basket and has that baby hook? Or is he going to get complacent and let him face up and settle for the jumpers on the perimeter and the 3-point line? That's what I want to see, because if you are stronger in the interior game and they can't stop you in the post, put his back to the basket and let him put that sexy shimmy on you and give you that jump hook to maintain that consistent 20-point per game average. But again, with James Harden coming up, is the ball going to move? Is the ball going to stay into dribble? And, that 14, 15 dribbles until they get the switch or the matchup that they want? That's what I'm going to be paying attention to as a coach, to see what adjustments are going to be made so they can best utilize Joel Embiid's greatness. Because, hey, he's an MVP caliber player every year. But look, Denver Nuggets, #1 in the West. Jokic averaging a triple-double. Embiid, 3rd place in the East. If this team is doing better, I think you've got a better argument for him being that MVP candidate.
Let's go back 2 years. When the Sixers swung the deal for James Harden, I made a comment on my morning show that stirred up quite a few hornets' nests. And you read it when I said James Harden is now a member of Philadelphia. There goes Joel Embiid's MVP chances. Boy, I stirred up a few hornets' nests with that, but I have those same people now coming back to me saying, you were onto something when you said that. Look at how they play. Yeah. I can't help but say it. They're diametrically opposed, because Harden wants the ball and Embiid wants the ball. And the key word that you mentioned is complacency, especially with Joel Embiid. Now that he knows he has a jump shot, the last 2 years, he's relied on it entirely too often.
And I'm going to elaborate on that once again, B Snow, because look at it. You've got 2 alpha dogs in the doghouse. Mm-hmm. Who is going to relinquish that alpha for the betterment of the team? When LeBron went down to Miami, what did Dwayne Wade do? LeBron, this is your show. You carry us. I'm now Robin to your Batman. Who is the Batman and the Robin in the crucial, moments of the game, in special situations when you've got to get that win and got to get that win in a hostile environment? That's what I'm going to be watching for, brother.
We're just getting started on this special Friday NBA conversation with Coach Scott Fields. Let's take a break, and when we come back, trouble with the Atlanta Hawks. What do they do? We keep diving into the Eastern Conference on this edition of the Brian Snow Show when you all get back.
Hey, sports fans, it's Rod Peterson here, host of the Rod Peterson Show, inviting you to join us daily for 2 hours of Atlanta's funnest sports talk right here on WQEE. I say fun because it is. You've never heard a show like it, because we make the listeners a part of the show every day between noon and 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll hear plenty of the best sports talk, including the latest on the Falcons, the Braves, and more. And who knows, you might even hear you. That's the Rod Peterson Show, daily at noon, right here on WQEE 99.1 FM.
Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. Find us online at killingsworthrealty.com or call 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, you may qualify for a free continuous glucose monitor system. Managing your diabetes is crucial to your health. The new CGM systems can automatically manage your diabetes better for you. And by using a CGM system, you can eliminate forever one thing most people with diabetes hate the most: finger sticks. Now it's possible to manage your diabetes better, end the painful finger sticks, and get a new CGM monitoring system at little or no cost to you. We even provide in-home delivery and do all the insurance paperwork for you. Now is the best time to manage your diabetes better and get your continuous glucose monitor. Call now for details. 800-897-0014. 800-897-0014. 800-897-0014. That's 800-897-0014. Paid for by U.S. Med.
WQEE 99.1 FM The Key, home of Southern sports and talk. Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin.
The thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
It most certainly is, and we're rocking it on this Friday edition of the Brian Snow Show. And I want to thank y'all for tuning us in. I'm joined by my brother in basketball, Coach Scott Fields. Wise El Jefe, Will Otero, joining us here as well in the comment section. Hello to you, my friend. Great to have you. Let's look at the 4-5 matchup as it stands today. Cleveland and New York. And if there is a hot team in the East, besides the Milwaukee Bucks, it's those New York Knicks. And they seem to have figured it out under Coach Tom Thibodeau.
Let's be honest. Tibbs is always a tough-minded, defensive-minded coach. Mm-hmm. You got Brunson who's come in. I like what they're doing. They seem to be peaking at the right time. And I think that's smart of Tibbs to be pushing the right buttons. But J.B. Bickerstaff and the Cavs, how can he not be a candidate for Coach of the Year with what he's doing, just like Mike Brown with Sacramento? J.B. has got those boys balling. And when you had a Donovan Mitchell in there, I don't care what anybody says, you win with quality point guard play. Both of those teams have got guard play that's nice, but I like the depth that the Cavaliers have on the bench. So I would give a slight edge right now as we speak to those Cavaliers, because right now they just seem to have chemistry. They seem to have good bench play. They seem to they seem to get it, and they seem to have gelled quickly and have that chemistry that's needed for those playoff runs. 4-5 matchups are always wonderful because there's just yin or yang, and which one is just going to win that tug of war.
Let's go to Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell, you mentioned him. Quality guard play. You mentioned it. How big has Donovan Mitchell, the Spider, been to the Cleveland Cavaliers and their rise to one of the top 4 seeds in the East?
Donovan Mitchell has made a smooth transition back to the Eastern Conference. He had great years here in Utah, but it just seemed like his time had run out and they missed that window to get to that championship level. Danny Ainge comes in and he's watching and he's observing and he's just seeing things just aren't quite gelling. But Donovan Mitchell to the Cleveland Cavaliers, I think he's got good pieces around him to where he can take over and exert himself. He's had a 70-point game already this year. You got to love the energy. He's defending wiser. He's picking his smart as a two-way player, meaning offensively and defensively. And man, look at how the bigs are running and they've got rim protection. I kind of like that, B Snow. Let's go, Cavaliers. Love what J.B. Bickerstaff is doing, man.
And J.B. Bickerstaff has to be mentioned in the Coach of the Year candidates, along with Mike Brown and what he's doing in Sacramento. We'll touch on Sacramento during the second half of the show. But J.B. Bickerstaff has thrown his name in the ring for Coach of the Year because even before they swung the deal for Donovan Mitchell, who instantly made them a playoff contender, what was expected of the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Exactly. They were on nobody's radar. They were just like, okay, well, are they going to be a play-in team? Are they just going to be, maybe a 7 seed in the East? And here they are right now, as of today, in that 4 spot in the East, and they're playing competitive basketball, and they play hard every night, which gives them a chance to win. A lot of times you see teams play hard at home, and then you see them kind of in a second gear on the road, but they're playing hard every night. And when you do that, you know what? You're going to sneak a few games that you're not supposed to win. And there they are at the 4th. So, hey, give JB his flowers and give him a lot of love, man.
In the 6th spot, we have the Brooklyn Nets. And I say Nets, I don't say mess anymore, because they got rid of the players that were causing them problems. And they're still in that top 6, and you want to get into that top 6 and avoid the play-in week so you can get a little bit more rest. Look at Brooklyn, 37-29. Yes, they're far out of the top spot, but Brooklyn's holding on to that number 6 seed. You got Atlanta and Miami charging hard. We'll get to the Hawks in just a moment, but Brooklyn has seemed to have cleaned their mess up, and now they're starting to play good basketball.
That the players, and I think Jacques Vaughn has kind of steadied the ship. He's calmed things down, and he's allowing these players to do what their roles are. So there's role identity and there's role acceptance, and they're playing that role, and they're playing a little bit, less unselfish. They don't have the daily distraction in the news about, is Kyrie going to play? Is he not going to play? Is it anti-Semitism? There was a lot of baggage there that was just a distraction. But yet, even during those times when Jacques Vaughn came in and Steve Nash was replaced, Jacques did an outstanding job. So you know what? He's letting the young guns play. They're playing with a pace. And, it's fun to watch, because most people thought, okay, Kyrie gone and KD, leaving the team, they're just going to, do that swan dive, but they've kind of steadied it. They're just kind of taking on trials and tribulations, and they're competing. And it's fun to see that, it doesn't always take big stars. It just takes quality team play, ball movement, and execution. And they're getting that right now, B Snow.
They absolutely are getting that. The team that's not getting that, and I want to focus on them, for all the folks listening on WQEE in Atlanta, is the Atlanta Hawks. 33 up, 33 down. They are in the 8th spot right now. And you want to talk about a team in turmoil to the point where it costs Nate McMillan his job. And Nate McMillan, you remember from his days with the Seattle Supersonics, a defensive-minded guard when he teamed with, here's a name for you, Dale Ellis in that 80 Sonics backcourt. McMillan did what he's supposed to do at a point guard, and Dale Ellis did what he's supposed to do at the shooting guard. So defense is the calling card for Nate McMillan. Unfortunately, somehow he lost the locker room, and they didn't want to play defense, and they wanted to rally around Trae Young when you traditionally would rally around your coach.
Gotta be honest. And here I'm going to speak from the heart. Nate McMillan and I have a close relationship. He and I both were at a junior college, Chowan Junior College, before his North Carolina State, before his days in the NBA. So I have a special place in my heart. Now, I'm going to say this to kind of just take it. I'm going to peel that onion a little bit. Did he lose the locker room, or did he lose the ice tray? And I think when he lost the ice tray, there was starting to be some dissension there within that locker room. Nate McMillan is a winner. Every place he has been, he's had success. Yep. The challenge for Quinn Snyder is, who again used to be here with those Utah Jazz, can he galvanize the roster? Can he learn quickly what's going to work and keep that superstar happy and put him in a position to be more proficient to get quality shots without exerting as much energy as what he was doing under the Nate McMillan regime? Trae Young is exciting, but do they have the shooters consistently from the perimeter to help them with spacing so Trae can, get to the basket and pick his spots? Are they going to be able to run and get Collins going and Capella on that pick and roll? There's a lot of pressure. a lot of pressure on Coach Quinn Snyder to kind of right the ship and get it galvanized. And is there enough time for him to identify the real strengths and weaknesses? But it's all about Trae Young. They're going to be as good as Trae Young can take them. But again, I'm worried about the energy that he has to exert on a daily basis. I watch those small details, B. Snow.
You brought that up earlier with Joel Embiid. I pay attention to those details also because, and it's the inconsistencies of the Atlanta Hawks that frighten me. You get Trae Young, who could be a world beater one night and throw up 47 points with no problem, but then the next night he seems dog tired.
Yeah,
and he loses days at Oklahoma as well. It's inconsistency with the energy, and that's something you and I talk about off the air often. Who's going to bring the energy each and every night, especially when the playoffs are getting here, because you're getting into the home stretch. 16 games left for Atlanta. Where is the energy going to come from?
I look at Trae Young's body and body of work. You mentioned the roller coaster and the inconsistencies. I look at his frame and I think, can he take the physicality as it becomes playoff time and things are geared up a little bit and things ramp up? That's what you got to watch close as a fan. If he's exerting energy to get 40 points, what's the game after going to be? Can he maintain that consistency? Is he going to drop from 40 points to 24 points? And if he's only getting 24 points, who's going to step up? Who's going to be the Tito Jackson to the Michael Jackson? That's my question. You got to have Tito stepping up with a Randy.
Yeah, you have to. And it's not there right now for Atlanta, even though they're holding on to a playoff spot. It's just not there. The other place where it's not there, as much as I hate to say it, is Miami. Miami has fallen. They're in the seventh spot right now. When last year they were competing in a seventh game with Boston for the Eastern Conference Championship. How has Miami fallen so far, and can they get that mojo back in the nick of time when the playoffs get here in April?
I just mentioned it to you about 10 minutes ago, the point guard play. Lowry has been injured. He's not 100%. And that right there is a big difference when you don't have that point guard play, because you've got Jimmy Butler, who is phenomenal. I mean, we call you the Swiss Army knife. Look at everything Jimmy Butler brings with that heart and that chest that he has, because he's going to compete offensively, defensively, scoring. But he's that point forward where if Kyle Lowry comes in there and he's 100% healthy, it's a whole different look for the Miami Heat. Concern for them on where they're going to get that consistent play out of a point guard position for Miami to make that deep run, because right now they just don't have that I see.
Let's go to my hometown of Chicago and look at the Bulls. 30-36 after an incredible run last year. You lose Lonzo Ball for the year and possibly a second year. They're a game out from the play-in round when they had the 6th seed last year. And everyone is calling for Billy Donovan's head. Would that be the right move for the Chicago Bulls?
I'm gonna throw this out there. Think about this. Was it the shoes that Alonzo was promoting for years? Was he playing those shoes that's causing the injuries? Were they not quite up to a brand that should have been? There was a lot of chirp. There was a lot of chirp. But think about those shoes that he was playing in, and now you're seeing both ball boys with injuries, and that concerns me. So when you lose Alonzo Ball, is he not a great shooter? No, but you know what? That guy has spatial awareness. He creates plays. He gets the ball to the right people. But with that injury to Alonzo Ball, that they lost a lot of. They just lost so much because he controlled pace. He controlled space. He controlled tempo. He got the ball to the shooters at the right time, which is a skill set to be able to penetrate pitch and get it to them into their shooter's pocket. They don't have that dude right now. So I know I probably went off on an angle there. That is, again, I'm looking at details. But
you know what? It's true. It's true, though. The shoes that Lonzo was promoting for years and years and years, I think out of force, may have forced him to the sideline. And I want to hope that he comes back next year, but you want to be completely healthy, especially when you have a key position, the point guard. Spatial awareness is one thing you mentioned. Getting to the hole is the second thing. Galvanizing that team is a third.
That's right. And do you blame Billy Donovan for all that? Because, man, when you lose your star quarterback who's running everything for you on the floor, there's an adjustment piece. Is Levine doing his thing? 100%. Can DeRozan do his thing? Yes. But do they have a rim protector? I don't see it. And again, Billy Donovan can create plays and everything, and there's going to be a lot of pushback on the coach because there always is. So there's your choice in the front office. Are we going to try to change the coach just to change the culture for somebody to hear a different voice? And, as we try to get ball healthy, that's your key questions here that are going to be coming up for the Windy City.
Yeah, and I hope the Bulls solve it too, because I love following that team and see how far they can go. Pause for a break. We'll dive into the Western Conference. And boy, there's a lot of questions to answer there. Back after this.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
FM The Key, home of Southern Sports and Talk. Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin. It's the best in sports and entertainment, and get locked in and locked down with Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. with your host, me, Ryan O'Neal, each and every morning, right here with the best in sports and entertainment, all the way from professional sports to college sports to River Dragons hockey and everything in between, including some of the very best local and national guests. It's the Rhino Radio Penitentiary, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on 99.1 FM WQEE.
Are you looking for a reliable dental practice that not only cares about your teeth, but is friendly to work with? How about one that offers great deals and new patient promotions? Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton, Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now, get a $99 new patient special, including x-rays and exam. Maybe you're looking for veneers. Most Valuable Smiles veneer special includes one free veneer with every 5 purchased. Or get that bright white smile you've always wanted by taking advantage of an exclusive $100 off Zoom whitening treatment when you book today. And don't forget that 2022 is almost over. That means most insurance policies will reset by the new year, and to avoid losing that extra money, you need to use it or lose it. Book an appointment today with Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Eatonton to lock in these exclusive deals. Call 706-623-0318 or visit mostvaluablesmiles.com.
Hey, y'all, Snowman here. Catch Snowman in the morning at 6 p.m. Eastern Time right here on WQEE 99.1 FM. This is the show where we cover the Falcons, the Hawks, the Atlanta Braves, and we cover you, the Atlanta sports fan. That's Snowman in the morning, 6 p.m. Eastern, weeknights right here on WQEE 99.1 FM. And when you tune into the show and you want to bring others, tell them Snowman sent you. Thanks.
Listen to the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, Monday through Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. on WQEE 99.1 FM The Key. If you are a sports fan in Columbus, it doesn't get any more local than the Sports Beat. We cover Columbus River Dragons, Columbus Rapids, Columbus Lions, Columbus Chattahoochee, Columbus State Cougars and Lady Cougars, and all the high school football and basketball action in the Chattahoochee Valley. If you have a sports question or would like to be a guest, you could always message me on my Twitter page or Facebook page, Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge.
The thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
I'm Brian Snow. This is the Brian Snow Show to wrap up the week. We're talking all things NBA. We're going to dive into the Western Conference, and we got to start with the champs who have so much trouble winning on the road. 7 wins, and they're locked into the 6th seed. But you got to, as much trouble as they've had on the road, as much injury as they've had to deal with, even though they're in the 6th seed, to be the champs, you must unseat the champs. And right now they're in a playoff spot. How incredible is that?
I'm going to start off by saying this. That commercial music that you got is banging. You got me banging my head like B.I.G. Baby, baby. Come on, B Snow. I'm having so much fun. I got to get back locked in. We were talking about those Warriors. B Snow, as you know, I was blessed and fortunate back in 2009 to spend time with my close friend in the industry, Coach Keith Smart, another Indiana boy who's a Indiana Sports Hall of Famer. I was able to be with the Golden State Warriors at the NBA Summer League, and I saw the growth and the development of NBA All-Star Steph Curry, and I'm seeing, the pieces that they've added. Steph's been out. He's been injured. So when he comes back, are they going to be able to be full throttle with 100% Steph Curry, or is he just going to be 92, 93%? Because what we've seen in the last handful of games, Klay Thompson has kind of got a rhythm right now. I like the proficiency that Klay Thompson is playing with. Andre Iguodala is slowly getting, injected back in, and will he have the legs and will he have the stamina to be that defender and be a guy who's going to move the ball and make good plays? I see what they're doing. Draymond Green's got a lot of chirp going on right now with this podcast, and they're going back and forth with he and Dylan Brooks, which I know the fans love that, and Draymond Green's going to get into this broadcast industry and light it up. But I'm when I'm watching the Warriors, I'm thinking about how healthy are they going to be? What's the chemistry that they're going to have? And can Looney be that defender and be a rim protector and be able to get you 8 to 12 points per game consistently as they're trying to find their groove and get everybody back healthy? And they have to be healthy to be able to compete. I'm concerned with what I see right now because there's so much inconsistency and they just can't seem to win on the road with all the injuries that they've had to this point as of this date.
Speaking of chemistry, let's go further into Northern California and look at the Sacramento Kings. You want to talk about a team that's having a renaissance. And the coach who I feel should be the runaway coach of the year candidate in Mike Brown, who, by the way, is a 3-time champion because he was the defensive coordinator for the Golden State Warriors. He has taken all of those lessons, and God love him, and brought it to Sacramento, and look how they're playing right now. Number 2 in the West against a runaway Denver Nuggets. But look at Sacramento. Look at the Sacramento kid. Look at this team.
Can I hear those cowbells?
Man, come on. The Cowbells are going to come out at Golden One Center just the way they blew the roof off the joint of Arco Arena. The Cowbells will come out come playoff time, and if they stay in the number 2 seed, they could return to the Western. The scary thought is, if they stay in the number 2 seed and stay as locked in as they are, they have a date in the Western Conference Finals waiting for them.
And you didn't even mention that Mike Brown had LeBron James with the Cavaliers as a head coach. So he has taken a wealth of knowledge and experience. He has great effective communication with role identity, and the players have bought in. I mean, you got probably the fastest point guard with the ball in his hands at De'Aaron Fox. You got Malunk there. And then look at what Sabonis is doing. Hey, Sabonis could play. Chip off the old block. His dad played in the NBA at DeMontis' age. Are you kidding me right now? That's a big guy who passed. I mean, we could go on for hours, but you know what? Look at it this way, B Snow. When have we ever seen 3 small market teams be the top 3 teams in the West, with the Nuggets, small market Denver, small market Sacramento,
and Memphis.
3 small market teams that don't get a lot of play because they're not big and sexy with a lot of popcorn popping and the light shining bright. But man, you got 3 small market teams doing their thing. But I like where Sacramento has themselves played. They're like the unknown. People don't know much about them. They better start doing their research and start their scouting, because Mike Brown has that team playing sexy right now.
Let me give a shout to De'Aaron Fox, because when he was drafted by the Kings in 2017, my first comment was they have their centerpiece. They have their centerpiece now, and now they are putting the right players around him. The one I think of the most is a former champion in Harrison Barnes. You want to talk about experiencing a renaissance? Harrison Barnes is back on the floor, and boy, running with De'Aaron Fox, he's killing it right now. He's really helping these Kings.
I'm going to age myself with this one. Mimi, Roadrunner.
Yes.
De'Aaron Fox can go. Yep. And listen, you got Harrison Barnes, who has all that experience. So you talk about a glue guy on the bench and in the locker room to kind of keep their minds and keep their focus and be like, fellas, this is what we need to do. And they're just sneaking, getting in and getting past and getting through. And they're doing it consistently with that speed, because you know what? How are you going to keep up with them? You're going to wear teams out just going up and down. And, you know, those bigs and guys with versatility and size at 6'8", 6'9", you can't keep up with them. Muhammad Ali, you can't hit what you can't see. Man, look what they're doing, baby. They're flat out bringing it. So with that speed, hey, you know what? Mike Brown's like, hey, I'm getting out of the way. Go. They got green light, and they're playing with speed. They're playing with tempo. They're lighting up the scoreboard, but yet they can also play pretty smart defense and fly the lanes and disrupt things and get players to shoot where they're not comfortable defensively. And I like that. Mike Brown, keep doing what you do, baby. I'm loving what I see.
We talked about De'Aaron Fox, and we could talk for hours, you and I, about De'Aaron Fox, because we both see what he can bring. I'm going to date myself and give myself a reminder. Does the name Kevin Johnson mean anything to you?
Oh man, come on! You're talking about the politician. look what he did with those Phoenix Sun teams. Whether it was Dan Marley, Charles Barkley. Hey, that guy, he had that bounce. He had them hops, them bunnies. Boom. He's sitting there rocking the rim with some things that he would do. But man, De'Aaron Fox, that speed, I love it. And like I'm saying, you know, you got Malik Monk out there. I mean, they've got a nice little team there that they're playing with that youthful energy and those youthful legs. And that's just smart.
Man, a term that Brent Musburger used on a basketball game broadcast description, youthful exuberance. That's what we're seeing from the Sacramento Kings right now. A word that we used often during this show, inconsistency. Look at 7 through 10. You want to talk about models of inconsistency? Minnesota, Dallas, the Lakers, New Orleans. Lakers have leapt into the 9 spot after being at the 13th slot. There's less than 4 games separating seeds 7 through 13 right now. This is a scary run in the Western Conference, because again, you can throw Golden State in the line of inconsistency, but they're sitting in a secure spot right now at the number 6, which means they don't have to worry about the play-in round. 7 through 10, Minnesota, Dallas, the Lakers, New Orleans. Start with New Orleans, and let's work bottom up. As Zion goes, so do the Pelicans. And unfortunately, Zion has not been able to go. And people are telling me you can't label him a bust yet. You know this as a coach, so you know what I'm about to say to you. Your best ability is availability.
Amen.
That's been the biggest problem with New Orleans the last 2.5 seasons.
Again, it's those tangibles as a coach, because again, I'm speaking through a coach's lens. You can't control injuries. And you know what? It's a shame that he's had multiple injuries. Is it a weight thing? Or do we take it all the way back to the AAU days where you saw him as an Instagram sensation doing the 360 windmills Was there enough rest and recovery for Zion back in those times? And I can't help but think that's part of the issue is the AAU culture that he was brought up in, and just wanted to showcase him and, put the right shoes on him and make sure you had the right endorsement deals with a young kid from Columbia, South Carolina. So I'm going to go all the way back to those AAU days and those grassroots days. I just don't know if his body's really had the time to heal and recover for him to be ready physically for an 82 game season, and then get into the playoff run. So I'm going to sketch back all the way to that, B Snow, and I can't help it, but that's just what resonates in my mind because I see it and it concerns me with grassroots development of basketball.
And that concerns me as well, that you don't allow your body enough time to rest, enough time for your legs to get back, enough time for your leg strength to get back, because you don't take a full day and not do anything because you're running all the time. And by the time you get to the NBA, after only a handful of games under Mike Krzyzewski at Duke, that's another problem that I see with Zion Williamson. He hasn't been coached enough. And be that as it may, I know they're trying to coach him up, but that coaching from Duke University would have been invaluable. I mean, you're looking at now he should have been ready, not after he blew his shoe out against North Carolina 3 years ago.
Yeah, right in front of President Barack Obama, to say the least. A little bit of a hiccup there with the Nike brand, but let's look at this. You see so many injuries in today's sports, and you're seeing more ruptured Achilles. You're seeing so many ACLs. Why is that? Not enough time on strength and conditioning, where you have to, build up those hamstrings to support that ACL and to support those joints. So you know what? I wish there was more time on strength and conditioning, but yet rest and recovery is a vital piece of that. And there's just not enough rest and recovery ages 17, 18, 19, 20, because the league is so saturated with talent that's just not quite ready to play yet. But yet we've created this beast of potential, and potential is good enough to get you beat and get you injured.
Yep. And a lot of young players are suffering through that right now. Let's look at the 9th spot with the Lakers. The Lakers are riding Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis, for the moment, is delivering. Consistency concerns me with AD, because we all know about his injury history. We've spoken about it many times during this show. But the Lakers are really bringing it. 30-point recent game for AD, 30 points, 22 rebounds. Are they going to bring it enough to clinch a play-in spot?
We've talked about it before. We talked about it with the 76ers. You had two alphas. When people saw AD come from the Pelicans, they share the same agent. It's all about clutch sports. We know Anthony Davis can do this when he's healthy. We know Anthony Davis can do this when he gets his touches. But there's been so much emphasis on LeBron having the ball and LeBron breaking the scoring record. LeBron is now out with a foot injury. But I'm kind of concerned because he wasn't at the games, but yet he was at the Super Bowl up there in the suite.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. Did you see Anthony Davis stand up when he broke that record? I noticed on the bench he didn't stand up.
Nope.
I think there's a little bit of, let's make it more about we instead of me. And Anthony Davis right now is bringing what we know Anthony Davis can bring. Now, here's what I do like. Are we talking play in, or are we talking playoffs? I think they're good enough to be playoff team right now with Anthony Davis leading that charge. LeBron can come back in and bring what LeBron brings, because let's be honest, probably one of the best players on the planet, definitely top 4, even at this age. He's broke the all-time NBA scoring record, which is well-deserved, which shows longevity. But man, where did it start changing? Now, LeBron didn't get his way because he wanted Kyrie to come in, right?
Yes.
But led JM, you know what? There was some decisions in the front office. When Rui Hachimura came in, all of a sudden you had a shooter. Now you've added other pieces to around LeBron and AD. And why is it working? Beverly is gone. Beverly's now with your Chicago Bulls, but yet who's in those other pieces right now to be bench depth with your LA Lakers. But I'm looking at the remaining games in schedule. The Lakers coming up. They got the Jazz twice. Those are going to be 2 wins because the Jazz have given away all their pieces. They're trying to get into the lottery sweepstakes with all those draft picks. You've got the Pelicans. They got the Rockets 2 times. So when I look at the strength of schedule, they got the T-Wolves coming up. I see a lot of wins here for those Lakers, and they're going to be a playoff team and not just a play-in team just because of the strength of schedule remaining for those LA Lakers. And yeah, Anthony Davis is going to bring it. Yeah, you saw him get hit in the nose the other day. He bled for a second. Everybody's like, 3 weeks. No, Anthony Davis is ready. He's showing the front office, hey, it's going to be time for you to make a decision. Are we going to build this team around LeBron? Are you going to build this team around me, who's got younger legs? I can be healthy, and I'm going to show you I can carry this LA Lakers team. Well, here's the big question. Where will LeBron be after this season? Are they tired of him trying to control everything, trying to, micromanage? Now, it doesn't get talked about, but all those pieces were the pieces that LeBron wanted. I've got nothing but love and respect for LeBron. But you know what? Stay in your lane, play your game, do what you do. Is he going to get traded in this offseason so he may have the opportunity to play with his son, Bronny? Those are the questions that are really going to be going on. There's going to be theater 12 months of the year. But this Lake Show, they're a playoff team, not a play-in team anymore.
All right. Eighth seed goes to Dallas, or it is with Dallas right now, and 2 alpha dogs. Again, we've talked that's been the theme of our show with some of the teams that we looked at in the playoff picture. Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic. First couple of games, it seems like it would work. But I look at this with a critical broadcast eye and a partial coach's eye, because I've worked around coaches and I've talked to you. Is Kyrie going to stay healthy? Is Luka going to stay healthy? And are they going to have the same kind of synergy that a pair of dogs who want to win should have? Should have. Those are the key words I have right now. Should have. I don't see it.
B Snow, great questions, because the questions that you just brought up are what's resonating within that franchise right now. Kudos to Mark Cuban for getting a Kyrie Irving there to show, hey, Luka, you know what? You don't have to leave us. We're going to try to put pieces around you so you're not exerting so much energy, and you're hopefully not going to get hurt before we get into the playoffs. Here's the question. Hall of Famer, Jay Kidd, you've been a point guard. You know what it takes, but can you sit there and effectively communicate and say, okay, whose night is it? Who's going to take the big shot when the big shot counts? Do you want to go with Luka, who can create with his own pace? Luka, boy, everybody's so surprised Luka's having such a wonderful career. Why? He's been doing it since he was 14 in the European leagues. He was MVP of the European leagues. He can get that shot off, and he can score it from, 3 levels. He can score it inside, he can score it mid-range, and he can score it from 3. Kyrie, one of the best ball masters in the game. He's got the handles. He can get you the shot. But here's the thing. Who's going to take the crucial shot when the game is on the line, when you're down 1 point with 2.6 seconds and Jay Kidd calls timeout and you get it there at half court? Who are you going to get the shot for? Are you going to let Kyrie create and get it to the big dog so Doncic can get the shot off? That's what you got to find with your word synergy. Who's going to take the big shot when the big shot counts? That's what's going to determine, are they just a first round team and out, or can someone else help step up there with that Dallas Maverick team? Because yes, you got 2 alpha dogs who can score, but who's going to take the big shot? Is Kyrie going to be smart enough and mature enough to say, Luka, this is your show. We got to win it with you. I'm going to bring energy and take over and let you rest from time to time on the offensive end, because we know Luka's not going to play much defense. It's not going to happen. So that's the whole key. Jay Kidd, let's see what you do. Whose hands you going to put it in?
One game I'll look at with Dallas before we close up shop here. One game I'll look at with Dallas, and that was the home game they had against the Lakers where they were up 27.
Ooh.
No defense in the second half. None.
Yeah.
And they choked away that lead. They had 3 different shots to get the lead late in the fourth quarter and seal the game. But to go back to your question, who would they turn to? And they couldn't answer those questions, and they lost the game. Same holds true a couple nights later when they faced off against the Phoenix Suns. They don't have a well, they got 2 closers, but they don't know who's going to really close the game. That's a question they have to answer quick.
What I like about it is, here, do your due diligence. I'm looking at who were their elementary school teachers, because when they taught the alphabet, it went A, B, C, E. Where was the D? There was no D.
No.
We got to throw it out there. Let's throw it back on their elementary school teachers who taught them the alphabet, B. Snow.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. This has been a delightful, delightful hour with Coach Scott Fields joining me on the final edition of the week of the Brian Snow Show. And Scott, tell everybody where they can find you, buddy.
Oh, man. Hey, I'm blessed. We have a YouTube channel out there. You can catch the Coach Scott Fields Show on our Facebook page, but you can also catch us on DBTV Monday through Fridays, where we have over 300,000 viewers daily, but over 300 million households can catch us on DBTV. Also on CSTV, Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, and the Rewind Sports 60. Honored, blessed, and humbled to have such wonderful guests. But man, this has been fun because I've been able to be analytical and not just sit behind the mic and ask questions. Loved this opportunity to share this and hopefully have a little bit of fun and entertain the viewers as we kind of broke some things down.
Oh, we're gonna do this more and take everybody to and through the World Championship Series. Thank you, my brother. I love you. Thank you so much.
God bless you, B. Snow. Keep doing what you do. I am a huge fan, brother. B. Snow.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, man. What a week. What a week. It's been wonderful. It's been a blessing, and I hope you all enjoyed it as I enjoy bringing it to you. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Remember, the weekend edition of the Brian Snow Show kicks off tomorrow with Andy Del Rey and then Sunday with members of Rimpage. God bless y'all. I'm out of here. See you Monday.
Thank you for tuning into The Brian Snow Show, where sports is the base, life and fun are the results.